guys, welcome back to my channel. Glad you could be here. Anyway, what I'm going to do right now, maintenance. I did do a little bit of maintenance with the car. We were up in Eddyville, made quite a few passes on it, and we just need to check things out, make sure things are looking good, no leaks, any of that stuff. Any indication, I didn't see any marks on the floor and the side of the trailer, so I think we're looking good from that aspect. But we just need to give it once over, just to make sure nothing has moved around or came loose, any of that stuff. So we're going to work on that before the race Sunday up in Mocan. Mocan does have a 2-day race weekend coming up, but I can only make it for 1 day, and that's Sunday. So anyway, so we're just going to go up there for 1 day. That is a points bracket race, so we'll be up there for that one for sure. So, and I got some other projects I'm going to work on the car, and I'll bring that out in the video here. Also, got some decals. I did not show that up in Eddyville where I stuck those at, but yeah, got my decals there. That's actually my YouTube channel, so if you happen to see the car with that YouTube channel on it, guess what? That's me. So anyway, projects, what I'm going to look at. Front end, okay? I'm going to go ahead and bring up the front end. It's a little bit too low for my liking. So we stuck a much smaller tire on it beginning of the year or something like that, or toward the end of last year. But we're going to go ahead and make adjustments to the front end. I'm going to go ahead and bring it up a little bit, okay? Couple things. One, that helps me from tripping the beam when I'm really hard on the brakes, tripping the front end. That has happened in Eddyville. Sometimes I got lucky with it, and sometimes I did not. I actually broke out. So anyway, I'm going to bring up the front end up a little bit. The other thing that should help out is traction toward the back. By bringing the front end up, we're actually changing the instant center of gravity, and that should help transfer the weight a little bit easier toward the back. So that's basically the front end is going to be setting higher, so it doesn't have to pick up the front end to transfer more weight. So it's already going to be that high, and it should bring it up a little higher and transfer even more weight back there. At least that's the theory on it. So we're definitely going to work on the front end shock settings. We're just going to go ahead and ratchet it up a little bit, make it a little bit higher. So we'll do a quick measurement here before we do that, see where we're at right now. Then we make the adjustment. Then we see where we're at. I'm going to bring it up a couple inches, I have a feeling. So I'm going to try that and see how that goes. The other thing we're going to check, I'm going to check my pinion angle just to make sure that's good. I have not checked that in a while. We have made some adjustments to the back and some to the front and stuff. So anyway, mainly the back end. So I'm just going to check the pinion angle, make sure that's looking good, and hopefully that's in check. So anyway, and I'll walk through the steps on how we do that check as well. So, and last step is the windshield. I don't know if you can tell, but you can see a big discoloration here. What's happening, this coating, there's a film over here is actually coming off and exposing the Lexan underneath. And this is really, really cloudy. A couple things. I am looking at getting a replacement window for this. We're talking almost $700 to get this thing replaced. So it will probably be a lot nicer piece than this. Right now I got things screwed down on this one. The next one I'm looking at, I am actually looking at to get it not screw down, just glue it down with adhesive. Should a little bit better. I will replace or get new moldings for around it, just like at its factory. So it should look like a factory window. But for right now, I'm not sure if I can even polish that out to make it look a little bit better. Anything below that, like I said, is really fuzzy. Anything above it's crystal clear. So I'm going to be very cautious of what I'm going to be doing down here. So if I happen to come up with something that makes it a little bit clearer, well, I'm going to go with it. But right now, we're going to have to make do with what we have and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. Okay, to get the front end raised up, what we're going to have to do first, I'm going to have to take a measurement to see where I'm at right now. Then I'm going to put some turns into the front shock spring to bring it, to bring the height of it up and go from there. I'm not too sure how many turns I have to put in, for adjust the spring up, but I just have to make sure I get a measurement first, bring it up, put the car back down, see how much I raised it or not. So anyway, so let's go ahead and get the measurement first. Pick the center of the wheel, kind of where it's at, and it's showing about 26.5. I'm going to go and measure the other side, see where it's sitting at as well. So the other side actually measured out to be 27, so we're actually a ½ inch difference between side to side. There could be various other reasons why that's the case. I know we got some preload on the rear because there's no one in the car. Sometimes that could throw things off. I don't know if I just should set everything neutral, measure it again, put everything back down to see where I'm at. So there's several different things why this side of the car is a little bit lower than that side. But ideal carefully, as I like to get them at the same height. And this way, when the car is launching, everything's sitting at the same height and carries on out. So right now, I know there's preload set up in the car with me in it. So the best bet right now is try and make them the same height. So basically, try to get this up about 28 over here, about 1.5 inches and 1 inch over there. And let's go from there. What we need to do is get this guy and push it up further. So we got a locking nut. We need to take this loose. Then we just need to take this and turn it up higher. The springs are fairly light, so I think I should be able to turn this hopefully fairly easy. If not, what we're gonna have to do, gonna have to take this whole assembly down, compress the spring to get this thing up here a little bit easier. So hopefully we don't have to do that. Hopefully I just can turn this and it goes on around. Okay, the next thing, I got this locking nut loose. Now I'm going to measure from the bottom of the A-arm to the bottom of the adjustment nut. Okay, and what I'm going to try to do is get a measurement here. Then I can see how much I moved it. Right now it's showing about 7 3/4. So I'm going to start turning this up and maybe stop at 1 inch, then put the tire back on and see where she sets at. So okay, I couldn't quite turn it with this guy, so I resorted to spring compressors. So stuck this on, going to take some pressure off the bottom and hopefully this will move up. Now I had to remove the ball joint, so now my A-arm's down a little bit further. So I'll take one more measurement from here to here, then adjust it accordingly. So like I said, I'm going to try to bring this up 1 inch and see how that goes. Okay, now I got it all moved up. It's almost another inch taller. I think it's like just lacks 1/8. Spring is getting fairly tight, so I said, you know, I'm within 1/8 inch of it. Let's try that and go from there. So let's clean up the threads here, get the ball joint all back together, and get the other side done as well. Make it the same height, and go from there. So hopefully this will bring the car up, and it should. How much? Wait to be seen. Okay, got the tire installed. Got the locking nut locked. So it just turned around. So we're going to put it on the ground and see how much difference it's going to make. Any bets how much it came off? I moved that spring basically one inch up. Boy, look at the gap around that top of that tire now. 26.5 is what my first measurement is. And this one is right at 27 7/8. So 1 inch movement, not even quite an inch, almost an inch. It's an 1/8 inch shy of the spring. Moved it almost 1.5 inches. I have not set the other side just yet. I don't think it changed that side at all. It probably did because it's lifting that side of the car up, and I can visually tell this one's up a little bit higher too. That's strange. I even pushed down on the springs to make sure everything is seated pretty good. So let's see what the numbers on this one is. This was a 1/2 inch difference between the sides, and that thing is so much taller now. Look at this. This is 28.5. Learn something new. Been having windshield issues for quite some time. This is a piece of Lexan. Has a protective film on it to keep from scratches and anti-fog and all that stuff from happening on it, but mainly it has a protective coating on for scratches and stuff. Well, you can see what it's starting to do here. This coating or this film that's on it starting to come off. In fact, at the last race, when water hit this, it's actually kind of started flaking up. So something is causing this to lift and get out of here. And luckily it's not up here yet, but it is down here, and it's somewhat difficult to see because this film is just kind of sitting on there. What I'm going to attempt to do is take this you know, this fuzzy looking stuff or this not as clear stuff off and see if I can't get a lot clearer. I tried to do something over there and I think I messed it up pretty good, but I just need to get through the season. This whole thing is going to go ahead and get replaced over the winter time. I already talked to the wife. This is a fairly expensive item. It's going to be over $700 to get this thing replaced. I want another piece of Lexan on here versus glass. The biggest reason why with glass I can't do this. This is actually cut out. So I'm forced to go back to a Lexan. If it wasn't for that, I'd put a piece of glass in there and be done with it. But I'm gonna go ahead and get another piece of Lexan for it. It's gonna be cut to fit. It's gonna have, it's gonna be a lot better than this. It's not gonna be screwed down. I'm gonna go ahead and glue it down, put the trim around it. It's gonna look just like factory, okay? So anyway, but for now, I'm just gonna try to get some of this flaky stuff off. You can see I already started doing on this already, trying to get some of this lifted off. And I'm actually using plastic razor blades. Yeah, cool little thing. If you don't have these, they're pretty nice. You'll minimize the scratching down on it for sure. So I'm just going to sit here and scratch on these. And not scratch, but go ahead and try to get all that film off. Then I'm going to take a bit of lens polish that you put on headlights. Kind of polish it out the best I can. It should be good to go this weekend. If anything, the aesthetics of it make it look better because you don't see this as much. But it is what it is. And hopefully it'll get me through the rest of the year, which I think it will, but it's going to have to. Don't want to spend any more money this year until we need to, until next year. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started to get that knocked out, and I'll show you what it looks like here in a second. Let's see how it just starts to lift off there. So it starts to become a little bit clearer through. You can actually start to see through it. So anyway, that gives you an idea what I have to get done. Okay, I got it all scraped off. This stuff is just lens clarifying compounds for what you put on headlights and stuff. To see if I can't take, I don't know if you can see it, some of these fine scratches out, and see if I can't just polish that just a little bit. See if that doesn't make a little bit appeasing to the look, but it's never going to look like what's up here. But this might help just a little bit, protect it maybe, I don't know. Sounds like a good thing to do. So let me go ahead and get that rubbed in and polished off and see what it looks like. Okay, this is the end result. You can definitely tell there's a difference between here and here, but for clarity and stuff, it does not look too bad at all. This has, you know, a little more clear, but this is very doable. If this ever happens to your window in your race car, my best advice would be just take a plastic razor blade, knock that film off, and just take regular polishing compound like this for your car lens, and polish it out, and you'll get a finish something like this. So aesthetics wise, that looks a lot better than that film haziness look on it. Still, it's just not 100%, and that no way I know it'll never get 100% until we replace the windshield. So yeah, on to the next project. Okay guys, what I want to check today, just to make sure everything's in check, because I have done some suspension modifications to it over time, and I can't remember I ever set the pinion angle back after we did some modifications. And let me show you what I did I think over the past year or so. So let me get back to the back. Anyway, what we have here is a 4th gen Camaro. It's actually a 1995, and what we're going to do is check the pinion angle and show you how you make adjustments on it and how to check it and all that other good stuff. So anyway, on my car here, it's kind of different on how other 4th gens are set up. What you probably don't see on the back, you don't see a sway bar in the back here at all, nor do you have any other type of sway bar stuff. And the reason being is the type of suspension we're running on this. And what we're running, I don't know if you can see that or not, we have a bar that's tied to the top of the axle, okay, and it's tied back into this lower control arm. In all intents and purposes, it's almost like a 4-link type setup, okay? It lets us have the ability to throw preload on the car, so we can get the car to leave level and straight going down the track. That's why you don't see any rear sway bar and all that stuff. I have been running this type of setup for quite some time. If you want to Google it, look for what they call Pete Z-bars. This is kind of a replica of that. My good friend Ed Wright, he led me on to this type of setup, what they run on stalkers and stuff like this, and I have been running this ever since. I've been running this thing for 10 plus years now with this type of setup. So it does make the car leave very, very straight. So back to the pinion angle. Okay, what we're going to do is get a front measurement on the front. Okay, I got my phone. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's showing right at 0 degrees. So let's go measure back and see where it's at. Get my phone, put it right here in the base of the plate. We're sitting at 3 degrees. Okay, so it's 3 degrees down. Okay, so if you can put it that way, you can see this rear index pointed about 3 degrees down. Okay, and the front's sitting at 0, which means the pinion is actually down 3 degrees this way. Then at launch, it's going to drive up and it'll come back to 0. So as far as I'm concerned, I think we're really good on the pinion alignment. So with this weekend, I only got 2 more races, point races. Then I have a we have the CDRA finals at the end of the October. Gives me some great opportunity. I'm not really high in the points anyway, so it gives me an opportunity to do some tuning on it, see what we can do with it. So then maybe over the winter time I can hunt around for some scales, put it on some scales and see what it's at. So with that, man, please link or hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the videos, do where you need to. Try to make the channel grow. We are growing, I just want to grow quicker. So with that, let's go ahead and get this thing down, get it cleaned up, put it in a trailer, and get to the track tomorrow morning. So with that, I'm out of here.